Only in Japan you would see this kind of advertisement for your game outside the gaming store. I love this country so much. What up, it's your Mangs Z-Mangs here, letting you know it's no neutral November. That's right everybody, time to start hitting some buttons and throw caution to the wind and play a game about Yuri Schoolgirls with Blue Reflection Second Light. I was actually pretty excited for this title. I enjoyed the first game, but it had some issues, mainly being repetitive and lacking some serious quality of life features. However, it had such a cool aesthetic, setting, plot, and music that I couldn't help but see it through to the end. I thought the Blue Reflection series had some potential as a franchise, and it seems like Gust thought so too, as they launched an anime that no one watched, a mobile game that isn't out, and now the sequel, Blue Reflection Second Light. This is the Nintendo Switch version you're looking at here in Japanese. I've played it, so is it worth picking up? Let's find out. Before we start, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell as well for notifications on future vids. And with that out of the way, class is in session. The plot is pretty simple. The player character is a friendly schoolgirl named Ao Hoshizaki. She bombed her exams and had to go to summer school, but instead of sweating her ass off in a Japanese school with crappy AC, she finds herself trapped in another world called the Heartscape, with no memory of how she got there. She meets three other girls, Kokoro, Rena, and Yuki, all of whom found themselves in this alternate world with no recollection of how they got there. The only things they have to go on are their wits, their phones, and mysterious rings that turn them into reflectors, which is this game's version of magical girls. Together they must explore this new world, gathering their memories and piecing together the why and the how of how they got there. As the girls explore the Heartscape, they are joined by even more suspiciously curvy schoolgirls. Add in some fan service, some cool looking weapons, and some lesbian undertones and you got Blue Reflection Second Light. Wait a minute, I've heard this before. Schoolgirls wake up in a place with no memory of how they got there, lesbian undertones, there's a bathroom, well, anywhere could be a bathroom if you believe, and they wonder if they can get out of there. Does this sound familiar to you? We did it! We found the lost anime Saki Sanobashi! Yes! Granted, there is no head-smashing scene here. While the plot itself isn't all that unique, there is enough mystery and intrigue to keep you motivated to see this game through to completion. The characters are likable enough and do go through some development as the game progresses. Even the previous Blue Reflection heroine, Hinako, makes her return here. Don't worry if you didn't play the first title and good luck finding a copy, you can jump into Second Light raw dog style. Do be warned, there is a lot of cutscenes in this game. At a certain point I had to read the text log because otherwise this review was going to take forever. Grab a beverage and watch some anime schoolgirl bullshit. While the main goal is to figure out how and why the girls are stuck in the alternate world, the bulk of the game is spending time with the girls and getting to know them. There are many scenarios where the girls are just talking, hanging out, and having some fun dialogue between each other. You can even take out each girl on a date. Yes, it's called a date in-game. The first game had a lot of Yuri undertones, and you can also date in that game, but this game throws subtlety out the window. If you play your cards right, you can do the unthinkable and actually hold hands with a girl, and at one point you even craft a bed surrounded by flowers. I'm surprised there wasn't a scene where the girls just take off their clothes and shag on the floor just to get it out of their systems.
Whoever's toe that is, I appreciate your enthusiasm, but I think you can stop.
There was even one day where you take a girl out, and she straight up sniffs Ao's hair in her sleep, much to Ao's dismay. Could you imagine going on a date with someone and the first thing they do is sniff your hair? Would you go out with them again? Actually, knowing me, I probably would. I do got to say, even if Second Light isn't the most graphically intensive Switch game around, the art style is nice. The girls are very nice and expressive, and their reflector forms look pretty badass. You can even get some cosmetics like swimsuits, and well, someone at Gust was very horny. Wear a swimsuit during the more intimate moments and ruin the vibe. The environments are really what steal the show here. As someone who has worked in Japanese schools before, Gust really captured the look and feel of a typical school. You can just feel that there were a ton of students here at one point, but now it's just you and the handful of girls stuck in the Heartscape. Speaking of which, the Heartscape environments are just something else. They are so abstract yet so familiar. I attribute it to the strong color palette and creative use of assets here. Each environment really stands out and has a distinct personality, and the music is top notch. It's soothing enough to make it seem familiar, but ominous enough to let you know something is wrong. I've seen the phrase liminal space used before, and I'm not sure if I'm using the phrase correctly here, but that's the vibe I get from the environment. Things glitch out, text flies across the screen, it all adds to this surreal feeling of being in the Heartscape. Remember kids, even if you don't have the strongest graphical engine, or maybe you don't have the highest budget, you can make up for those shortcomings with a strong graphical style. You can see that here with Blue Reflection. I think this game looks pretty good, all things considered. Or be like Astral Chain, that game is just fantastic. Well, just watching schoolgirls hang out all day probably wouldn't make for a compelling RPG. So what are the main objectives here? You have to go out into the Heartscape, explore what's out there, and try to regain your memories. And this, being a Gust game, expect a lot of combat and item gathering. Gathering is really easy, all you do is walk up to the thing, hit the button, and you get the thing. There isn't a limit to how much you can carry, and crafting is very simple, so there's no reason not to pick up everything you see lying around. Eventually you can create small attractions around the school, such as a takoyaki stand or a vending machine. Might as well live a little if you're going to survive, and girls just want to have fun. How they manage to build and stock a vending machine is a total mystery to me. I hope they have monsters and strong zero. Building stuff is easy as long as you have the materials, and it's crucial to seeing more dates as well as summoning more girls to this realm. And guess what, when you craft consumables, you can just use them as soon as you leave the school. What a novel fucking idea, right Atelier? As for the combat, Gust has been trying to rework the turn-based formula to some interesting results. Second Light goes for an active time battle system where you wait for your character to generate enough points on the timeline, then they can act. The more you wait, the more powerful your attack will be, or you can chain together multiple attacks. So it's a case of spending your points as soon as you can, or saving up for multiple strikes. It's pretty fun, and when you are in a tough battle, struggling to survive, it can make for some tense situations. You're casting buffs and debuffs, engaging with these weird one-on-one battles that took a bit of time for me to wrap my head around. It's fairly enjoyable when this game shows its teeth. On the flip side, there are some issues. While you can freely switch out your party as you see fit, Ao is the only one with a true guard move. Yeah, the most basic thing every RPG ever has, a block, is limited to one move from the main character. So if Ao is taken out, well, there goes your main defense. And while targeting an enemy's weakness does knock them back on the timeline, it doesn't knock them back enough to make it really feel like you countered the bad guy's attack. Basically, DPS is the name of the game. Personally, I think that the first game's battle system was more intuitive and developed, but to Second Light's credit, you do have more than 3 girls to play around as, and you can even get a 4th member providing assistance and passive support, and can swap in if one girl is hurting or is even incapacitated. Even if a girl isn't in the main party or she lost her health in a battle, they still level up, so you don't need to worry about one girl lagging behind in experience. Speaking of, experience from battles isn't that great. Even if you go through and defeat every enemy in a given area, don't expect much for your time investment. Your main power comes from gaining TP points, which you can then spend on stats, new skills, and passive buffs in and out of battle, as well as fragments that every girl can equip that can greatly alter them. So how do you get fragment and TP points? By going on dates and doing menial bullshit. With each new mission you can do requests from each girl, and they usually come in the flavor of busy work. Either collecting something, crafting something, defeating something, sneaking around something, or taking her to the back room and giving her a rusty venture.
Okay, it's when you take a girl out for a huge dinner, but you don't let her go to the can. Then you have anal sex with her and she craps all over your dick. So right when you're about to get off, you take it out and you blow shit cum on her back.
And it gets repetitive, fast, This was the biggest issue with the first game, and Gust didn't learn how to make a game where you don't do busy work to progress. Given how slow experience gain is, you more or less have to do all the requests to gain more power. Padding is the word I would use. Some new areas open up as you progress through the story, and you can make new equipment like an axe or a hammer to open up areas, but for the most part there isn't much new when you go back to earlier parts of the game. So yeah, there is some backtracking and it's not very fun, especially because you actually do have to farm some bad guys for certain drops, and they're just not fun to fight against when you're that much stronger than them. Plus, if a girl transforms into the reflector form in battle, the fight temporarily pauses to show the transformation. It's cool the first time, but not so cool the 1000th. Also, these stealth missions can fuck right off. They aren't hard, they are annoying. Partially because the camera won't move when you want it to, and girl, we were just here, we just wasted these dudes, why do we need to sneak around? God damn it, I need a drink. Don't worry boyos, no strong zeros at this time of day. I'm drinking this surprisingly tasty chocolate cafe au lait. With the focus of this game being on finding memories, something clicked in my mind about this title. Without wanting to get into details, 2021 has not been a good year for me, though there have been a lot of great times this year. We all have phones with cameras, so it's easy to capture the moment, but what about before then? What about the moments in between when memories are just kind of slipping away? I've had plenty of good times, but nothing remains of those good times besides memories. In a game where you run around and collect memories, it's kind of reflective of how it is in real life. Sometimes you're just having a normal day, but then a song comes up on Spotify, you see an old toy or game at a store, or maybe you walk down a familiar street and something triggers in your mind. It's quite a feeling to have a core memory come up out of nowhere and fill you with some kind of comforting nostalgia. If you're going through some tough times like I am, sometimes reflecting on the good times can be that morale boost. It's an escape for sure, and you and I still have to go through our daily bullshit, but that boost might be what you need to get through the day and see to better times. You can't return to your past, but those experiences will always be with you. The things that you've done, the people that you've spent time with, the media that you've consumed, all of those things make you, you. What I'm trying to say here is that life has ups and downs, but remember, no matter how crap life can get, there will always be better times ahead. More importantly, why is a game about lesbian schoolgirls making me so philosophical? What the heck did they put in this thing to make me so philosophical? Blue Reflection Second Light is an interesting game. For what it gets right in the art and story, it falls short in structure. A good part of the game kept me hooked and wanted to see more, but a good part of the game made me bored out of my mind hoping something interesting would happen. I guess it has to do with the developer, Gust. It's clear they have talent, but their multiple game a year strategy comes at the price of making their games feel less memorable than other titles. I can't say for sure if Blue Reflection Second Light will go down as one of the great JRPGs in memory, but at the very least we can say is that Catholic schoolgirls rule. So there's my review of Blue Reflection Second Light on the Nintendo Switch, and I gotta say this game is pretty average. While it's definitely a flawed game, I do think it has its strong points like the art, like the aesthetic, like the plot, like the music. So if you think those strong points are worth investing into, I would say check out Blue Reflection Second Light. It's far from the worst game in the world, and it's not even the worst game to release this year in the JRPG genre. Bravely Default 2, that game was pretty whack, I gotta say. But hey, JRPG is your thing, I would say give it a try because it's at least something different. And plus, if you're a Switch collector, Gust games tend to go out of print pretty fast, so yeah, you might want to pick it up while you still can. And just some more things before we wrap up here. This game is actually pretty easy to read in Japanese for a JRPG, so hey, I got some studying in me, and you got some more internet content too, so everybody wins. And don't get used to the new hair. My hair's probably going to grow back in a week, so yeah, I think that does it for this video. So hit me some buttons. Are you going to pick up this game, or what was your best subject in high school? For me, I was really good at writing and digital arts, so let me know in the comments. And while you're down there, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell as well for notifications on future videos. Of course, I am on the social media, Twitter, Instagram at ZMangs. Hit up the Discord too and share some nice memories with all of us there. and we'll see you in the next video. Later, everybody. Take care.